Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Racecourse, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Also brought to you by Wizard Race and Sports.
Good morning. Welcome to Racing Across America on this Friday morning. Seth Merrow live from our Clare Court location. Horse has been working out behind us all morning. The Jim Bond Armada has been going back and forth in front of us all morning, and it is another nice morning here. Again, the humidity this summer, there is a little bit of humidity again today, but otherwise a nice morning here at Saratoga, and we hope to continue that a little bit later on. Saffie Joseph will join us. He's had a nice meet so far. We'll hit on some of his winners earlier. Queens MG getting a big price in the win in the Schuylerville. Comes back on Sunday in the Adirondack. We'll hit on that and some of the others as well when Saffie comes. Pulled up a little video coming up a little bit later on of the Jockey charity basketball game. But we're going to kick things off with one of the players in the basketball game last night. Our friend Rick Schosberg joins us now. Rick, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. Always good to be here. And I'm a little stiff from coaching last. I'm a player coach, and I think last night was my last time on the court.
I was
yeah.
I'm
a little stiff and sore, but we had some young guys, and it was a lot of fun. And it's always a great event for the PDJF and the chaplaincy, and everybody enjoys it. And the Jocks got us this year. We nipped them last year, and they got their revenge on us last night. But it was a great game, a lot of fun, and just for a great cause.
It was kind of nip and tuck for a while. You guys would close the gap, and then they'd pull away again. Yeah. I always say, I played for a few years, and then I got my first basket, and then I quickly retired. But there was the one year I played, and I forget which Ortiz brother, but he came up the court, and I thought, I'll pick him up about the 3-point line or something. Yeah, I picked him up for about a second, then he was right.
Then he was right by you. Yeah, no, they're excellent players, and Manny Franco won the MVP last night, as he should. He's a terrific athlete and a great basketball player. They're all great athletes, and we had Ryan Blackburn from Siena College, who played pro ball, playing for the Jocks, and he was wonderful. He scored the points when he needed to, but he didn't. He played charitably, but they still beat us by 10. And deserved it. And our guys did a great job. We had a couple of threes that didn't drop for us that we were hoping so, but it was a lot of fun. And again, I think, Karen and Todd and I have been coaching, and I got out on the floor and ended up on the floor. And I think that was enough for me. Yeah. I'm a little stiff this morning. I'm going to stick to pickleball and golf.
I haven't tried pickleball yet, and I haven't played golf in like 2
It's a
summers.
lot of fun, and you get a good workout out of it. Let me tell you, I played tennis my whole life, and I'm rehabbing my shoulder, so I'm down to just playing pickleball, and I really, really enjoy it. And let me tell you, Angel Cordero, Ramon Dominguez, I think I heard Mr. Kimmel picked up a paddle the other day, and he's an excellent tennis player. It's a great sport.
All right, I may have to jump in. I know I play old man basketball at the Y a couple days a week, most of the year. This time of year, it's tough for me to do it. But I see signs all over there for pickleball, so I know it's big over there.
Great sport,
it's
very popular
overall. But yeah, it was fun last night. I mean, and every year, if you've never been, put it on the agenda for next year, because every year, big crowd out there, and the crowd is really into it. I mean, they really enjoy it. There's a fast break with either team, and win or lose, the crowd goes wild.
Well, let me define fast break.
For one team,
when the Jockeys have a fast break, it's a fast break. When we have a fast break, it's more like a mile and an eighth on the dirt. But
good point.
We got a few. Listen, it was 79-69. We scored some points last night.
It was fun.
Yeah,
I said earlier, and I wouldn't have done any better because it's hard when you come out cold and you don't get a practice shot. But at halftime, there are some raffles. That's a lot of fun too. One of the raffles is you get to take a half-court shot for $500. I landed somewhere between the foul line and the basket. But I said I'd probably do that. When you don't get a warm-up, it's tough. So
You had the right trajectory, just not the magnitude.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a fun night. So
Great.
again, put it on the agenda for next year as well. Retired now? Do you miss the training game?
I actually don't. I miss being around the horses every day, but
Yeah.
I'm out here every morning with the Take the Lead retirement program, and that has now turned into a full-time job.
Okay.
We're getting calls 7 days a week, and Andy Belfiore, who's my rock star executive director, and really was part of the blueprint with Rick Violet putting this program together, and she's been with us since its inception in 2012. And but we're very busy right now. We retired in our last fiscal year, which ended on June 1st. We had retired 172 horses in the prior year. And at the rate we're going now, I think we're going to blow through that standard this year as well. We've been very busy up here. I think it's a lot of different factors. I will say that we are trending upwards with sounder horses retiring, and I think that's really great because that's our message.
Yeah.
Retire one race early, retire one workout early. Let us know. We'll expedite the process as best we can. Gather up the information. And we send these horses directly to TAA accredited rehabilitation, retraining, rehoming facilities in the region and sometimes outside of New York if we have to. But it's been a wonderful program. I think the horsemen have really gained the trust of the horsemen, the owners, the trainers, and everybody. And we've proven, that we can handle the load, and we have the funding for it, and the funding comes from the industry, and that's essential. The industry has that responsibility.
Yeah. I had Andy on earlier in the meeting, and she was giving you kudos as well. Retired from the training side of things, but she said you're awfully busy with the aftercare, which has become certainly in the industry an issue in the forefront the past 5 years. And NYTHA, New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, and your aftercare, the Take Two program, the Take the Lead program have been prominent in that time period to kind of push that whole idea.
Yeah, and Andy's been instrumental in the whole thing, and sometimes she's behind the scenes, but believe me, she's the one that's pulling the levers and making sure that we can move this process along. And she was, again, in its inception, when I first came on the board, she and Rick had this plan, and it was, not only we knew that we were going to have a supply of horses that we had to go to accredited safe places, and Rick was one of the founding members of the TAA as well. So he was all encompassing. He's my mentor for aftercare, and he's like the godfather of aftercare, both on a regional scale and on an industry wide scale. And it's really grown, and as racing seems to be contracting just a little bit, we have to be able to expand aftercare at that same rate, because sometimes owners are retiring horses earlier, okay, and moving to get other horses into those stalls to race, and it seems to be going at a higher rate, not only in our region but across the industry. And that's why the TAA started with maybe 20 organizations. We're up to 86 organizations across the country. 180 facilities, and some organizations have more than one facility. And I'm on the TAA board. I'm on their accreditation committee. I do inspections, and the process by which we accredit these organizations is not easy. To obtain that accreditation and to maintain it over the course of the year. We do yearly inspections, fiscal inspections. We've been told by the CPAs that it's equivalent to an IRS audit, because you have to be a 501c3. You got to get your 990s in. We check your P&Ls. We check your balance statements. We got to make sure all those numbers are.
Yeah.
And then we go and inspect, and then you get your accreditation. And then throughout the year, then the granting period starts later on in the year, and that's where the other purview for the TAA is to make sure that these organizations are funded through the industry, and the money goes to the TAA, and then it gets granted out.
You mentioned folks contacting, and I know that's become a thing too. And you mentioned really should be forefront. Don't wait. Do it the race before you have to do it.
Right.
So the horse can move on to perhaps a second career, but a retirement that is sound and healthy for the horse as well. And you'll help people through the process, right? So if they contact you, you can.
And the one thing you got to realize is that horses run for 20-25% of their lifespan.
Yeah.
So the daunting task is that 75% afterwards, where they want to have a safe and purposeful retirement second career. So that's why this whole process, it's all about networking. It's all about communication and cooperation. And yes, and we've turned our process into a digital form where you can just fill out our intake form on your smartphone, and the veterinarians can do their examinations and send it to us digitally in 0 time. So once we gather all that information, we can expedite that process that much faster now.
I think we have a graphic with the NYTHA website, and is that a convenient way to get in touch, or
Absolutely.
if they go to the website and use a contact there, they can get contact info for you.
You can go to the NYTHA website or the Take Two website, either one. Absolutely. NYTHA funds our Take the Lead program upwards of $300,000 for the 2 programs that we run. So obviously, and when Rick was president there, that was the New York Horsemen. We took a part of our budget specifically for aftercare, and it's a little, about 1% of the or 10% of the budget goes just to aftercare, and it's all about benevolence across the board with the backstretch workers, et cetera, and education and healthcare. But 10% goes to retired racehorse programs like Take the Lead.
And again, it's become an important issue in the racing game. So it's good to see the New York Horsemen participating in the way that they do. When you sat down, you've already mentioned a number of times, Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, TAA, have some TAA activity going on over the next couple of days.
The TAA will have their presence here this weekend, yes. At Saturday and Sunday, we'll have races sponsored by TAA. We got the community booth over on the front side with all the information you'll need about the TAA and their industry-wide program. And also we have we have a lot of the TAA folks in town because we have our board meeting next week over at the Fasig-Tipton sales grounds. And if you're not sure about what it's about, go in there, or you can go to the TAA website and really look at the scope and the amount of work that's done. The accreditation starts in early April and it doesn't end till the end of October. And we meet on a weekly basis, plus doing all the inspections, the physical inspections. We have inspection teams all over the place, and we're inspecting places in Oklahoma and Seattle and Florida and New York and in this region as well. So you can imagine the amount of networking that has to get done in a short period of time to make sure that the standards are kept to such a high level.
So TAA, you can get information over on the front side over the next couple of days. But as you say, visit the website also, or folks see you bopping around. They can,
my phone number's out there. It hasn't changed.
I also wanted to mention, we mentioned it with Andy when Andy was in here, but want to remind people as we're getting closer, there is a Thoroughbred Aftercare Day coming up Thursday, August 15th. So just a little under 2 weeks here at the racetrack. A nice event there. I have a whole list of, the old friends at Cabin Creek. They'll be there. Therapeutic Courses of Saratoga had Kim Weir in a couple of days ago. They'll be represented throughout the day. And also, this was interesting because you're attached. The Down Broadway Retired Racehorse of the Year Award.
Right.
I like that. So we'll see that also on Thoroughbred Aftercare Day.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, Thoroughbred Aftercare Day in New York represents the local regional aftercare organizations that are accredited by the TAA, and it includes Therapeutic Courses of New York, TRF, Old Friends, Rerun, who does Lisa does a tremendous amount of work for us, the New Vocations Forum up in Gansevoort. And what we did, and this was Andy's idea, we wanted to showcase everybody to have a nomination for a horse that has
Yeah.
retired from racing here in New York. And what are they doing now? And put it out there for the public to vote on. And it's called the Down Broadway because Down Broadway was the very first horse we retired to take the lead, happened to be one of mine. And ELR Stable and Rich and Linda, who own them, just wonderful people. And Rich is since passed on, but Linda's still in the game and very philanthropic with regards to aftercare. And it's really cool. You can vote online for your favorite retiree. We have profiles and videos and things, and the voting ends coming up this week, a week early, and on Aftercare Day, which is obviously aptly on the day of the Rick Violet Stakes. Okay, like I said, he probably originated the word aftercare. So that day we have demonstrations before the first race and after the first race on the racetrack itself. We're going to be doing some jumping and maybe some dressage or some interesting second career activities for these horses from some of the organizations. We also will have the community booth. We'll have tons of information on each one. The races will have be named after the organizations, and we'll have a script on what they do, where they are, and how you can get a hold of them. And then we have the stall in the back, the showcase stall there, where we'll have one horse for half of the race day, from like 11:30 until 3, and then from 3 o'clock on, the winner of the Down Broadway, whoever he or she may be, will be in that stall. And there'll be photographs and autographs and stuff like that, hoofgraphs, whatever you want to call them. So it's a really cool day. It's our 4th annual, and we've expanded it every year. NYRA's been wonderful helping us out with the logistics of it, with regards to having activities on the racetrack during the races, the timing, making sure that the handicapping show is doing their thing, and then we get some time to do our demonstrations. The harrows have to be timed just right. So Glenn and David and everybody has been very, very helpful with regards to making sure that it's gone off flawlessly. And so far, I don't want to jinx ourselves, but so far the weather has been cooperative for the last 3 years. And you listening?
How do people vote? Where do you find the online ballot?
You can go at the Take Two, either on Facebook, any one of our social media pages, or you can go to our website to vote. Okay. And a lot of votes.
The NYTHA website?
You can go to the NYTHA website and kick over to Take Two.
Take Two.
Yeah,
okay.
The link is right there. Or you can go on Facebook, any one of our links, or Instagram, whatever, and X, and you can put your votes in there. And again, voting starts, I believe, on the 7th or the 8th. Andy's yelling at me, but but we had to do it a week early because we had to have it set up for transportation.
Okay, excellent. So that's a lot of fun. Thoroughbred Aftercare Day coming up here at the track 2 weeks from yesterday. So we'll alert people as we get closer as well. Rick, before I let you get away, I had to go back and pull up a little of your training career as well, and just give you some memories and let folks remember who maybe weren't around and weren't fans yet. I think we get a lot of those. We pull them in during the Saratoga meet. I went back to the 2002 Carter Grade 1 event. We're going to see a firm success, trained by Rick Schosberg. Get it done. 8 years old. There he is in the lead. Red silks, red cap. Give some memories to the very talented Affirm Success.
Just a wonderful, wonderful horse. He went to Old Friends in Georgetown, Kentucky. He was there. He passed away just over a year ago at 28 years old. Just a wonderful horse. He was so versatile. He won stakes on the grass. He won anywhere from 6 furlongs to a mile and a 16th on the dirt. He won the what was then the NYRA Mile, and he won the Carter at 8, as you just saw, and then he came back and he won the Toboggan and the Carter both back to back that year, and then the following year at 9, he won the Toboggan again. He was a 7 furlong monster. I think only Dr. Fager was better than him at 7 furlongs. Stride for stride. And we ran him in the Carter. I think he ended up 4th in the Carter at 9. Richie Migliore, one of our wonderful hosts on TV, and I talk about him all the time. And he really worked with this horse the last couple of years. We were all getting a little longer in the tooth, but we all understood that that his career was going to probably come to an end at some point. He retired perfectly sound. He ended up at the Kentucky Horse Park first, and then over at Old Friends. But Richie just absolutely loved riding him because he just puts you where you needed to be. And when he finished fourth in the Carter, we all decided, hey, that was it. He ran 42 times. He ran 3,800 buyer figures or more, which is unofficially a record, but I guarantee you no horses run 100 buyer figures in 38 out of 42.
Yeah, it's got
amazing horse. Just a cool horse.
42 starts, 17 wins, 10 seconds, 6/3, $2.2 million. And then we saw the win there under Richard Migliore. That stretch run we saw, the Mig was on board. As an 8-year-old wins a grade 1. And then, as you say, the next March wins a grade 3 as a 9-year-old. He was, again, for folks who don't remember, he was very special. So, I wanted to pull that up.
And he won the Forego here in a hurricane.
Oh, I bet.
98.
Yeah.
Yep.
A firm success. Rick, always appreciate the visit. Again, doing great work. You and NYTHA and the TAA all doing great work with the aftercare side of things, which has become so prominent in the game the last few years. So appreciate your work. Appreciate your visit. And good job last night running up and down the court. I felt for you a little bit.
Stumbling, bubbling, and fumbling. That's
as they say, play some old man.
Well, the good part was my wife got there after that, so she didn't have to see me rolling around on my head. I got fouled, though. I looked at the ref, and he was like,
the
guy's half your size. I was like, he pushed me.
There were a few no calls that I
there were a few no calls,
but again, appreciate the visit this morning.
Thank you so much, Seth.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll hit on some news and notes a little bit later on. Saffie Joseph will join us. All of that when Racing Across America continues. Stay tuned.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Friday morning. Again, we have, my chair's sinking a little bit. We have a little break here. This is one of those days where it's a funny day to try to swing people over, because a lot of people are headed over to the Hall of Fame. And so I was making calls and talking to people, and a lot of people said, you're overlapping, I'm over at the Hall of Fame. Also, Friday is Turf Works, but we're lucky enough we have Saffie Joseph scheduled for a few minutes down the line. But we do have a segment here where we'll have some news and notes, but also pulled up some video that I shot yesterday at the Jockey Charity Basketball game. And again, it benefited the PDJF and it benefited the chaplaincy. And I said, I saw Umberto Chavez, the chaplain, and normally I have him in on the morning of the basketball game. But I have to admit, I was like a week behind. And then yesterday somebody said to me, hey, tonight's the basketball. I said, but we'll have Umberto and Ramon in. Ramon's the board president of the chaplaincy. We'll have them in next week because they have another event coming up next, a couple weeks, I guess, from now, the brunch. Maybe it's next. Like I said, I think I'm a week behind, but we'll have them in to preview the brunch, which is always a great event for the chaplaincy as well. But I did go over and shoot some video, and I got a chance. Ramon was there, so I pulled Ramon out into the hall at one point and said, just talk a little bit about the chaplaincy and, the basketball game and how much fun it is, and a great charity event that happens annually up here. If you haven't seen it, mark it on the calendar for next year. Again, the Saratoga Rec Center is 3 blocks from the track. Happens pretty much right after the races, and it's a fun evening. Big crowd, big enthusiastic crowd. So again, pulled up went around and shot a little bit of video yesterday, and had Ramon talk a little bit about the event and the chaplaincy as well. So all of that up next.
Yeah, the chaplaincy is an extremely important organization within the horse racing community because we support the backstretch employees, and typically when people hear about the chaplaincy, they think only about the services that they provide, which is obviously very important about the Word of God, but also there are many different things like different programs for the youth, for the mothers, that certainly compresses a lot of different things and different areas of the need of our backstretch. And one of the fundraising events that we have, one or two besides the brunch, is the basketball game, which is a lot of fun. The jockeys playing against the trainers, some owners. It is a blast, and actually it is the jockeys get an opportunity, some of them like Manny Franco, Ortiz, to show that they can only ride horses, but they actually can play basketball. So, but it's a blast, and also this is just to have a lot of fun. We certainly create awareness about the organization.
Center court. That's what feature fans can do back there, okay? Feature fans. At this point, we're going to announce.
Welcome back. Yeah, it was a fun night last night, and as you saw, Manny Franco with the belt. He was the MVP. And yeah, as we said, the jockeys, there are a lot of, again, a couple of years ago, I went up to play a little defense. There's a speed factor there with those guys that I had not anticipated. So one of the Ortiz brothers zipped right by me, but a lot of fun. Crowd was enthusiastic. And again, for a great cause, the chaplaincy, great cause is chaplaincy and the PDJF, and folks at the chaplaincy, Umberto Chavez, Nick Karras, Ramon, all do a great job. And it helps take care of the folks on the backstretch, or provides some extra services for the folks on the backstretch. So again, they do very, very good work. Let me remind you a couple more times of things coming up today. Second giveaway item of the meet. It is the baseball jersey. Again, baseball jersey, trucker cap, not in my wheelhouse. I like a real baseball cap. The trucker caps have that mesh. Some people love them, though. And so I think both of these will be popular giveaways. Trucker cap a little later on, and baseball jersey today. So keep that in mind. If you like the baseball jersey look amongst the giveaways, today's your day. Come up. They are free with paid admission while supplies last. Also, keep in mind, just underway, but the Hall of Fame inductions, if you're in town, you can swing by. Typically, it's standing room only, so you probably won't get in. But you can watch it streaming on the National Museum of Racing website. And again, the class this year, the racehorses, Aristides, Gunrunner, Justify, and LeCompte. The jockeys, Abe Hawkins, who was kind of a pioneer amongst African-American jockeys. Joel Rosario of the modern day jocks. Pillars of the Turf, Harry Guggenheim, Clement Hirsch, and Joe Hirsch. So really nice class this year on the Hall of Fame side of things. So again, that is going on currently. Should have just kicked off within the last few minutes at 10:30. That was the scheduled kickoff time. All right, coming up over the next few, great action here over the next few days. Obviously with the Whitney tomorrow, the test annually, one of my favorite races of the year, and I think tomorrow will live up to that. But always good to keep in mind some of the other action nationwide on the racing scene. And tomorrow at Del Mar, the Clement Hirsch going into the Hall of Fame, and a race named after him at Del Mar tomorrow. This one's kind of interesting. Mile and a 16th for $400,000. It's a grade 1 event. And it's interesting because at 3 to 5 on the morning line, and deservedly so, Adair Manor for Bob Baffert comes in off a couple of nice wins. The Apple Blossom down at Oaklawn, and the Santa Margarita at Santa Anita. And a couple of the most recent starts had triple-digit buyers, so probably lives up to that 3 to 5 favoritism. But interesting because underneath, or some of the other horses in the mix, Scylla for Bill Mott comes in off a win at Churchill, most recently the Fleur de Lis, and has been working at Churchill for Bill Mott, but they ship cross-country. And Pretty Mischievous for Brendan Walsh comes in off third in the Ogden Phipps here at Saratoga on Belmont Stakes weekend. So a couple of East Coast runners, or primarily East Coast runners, in the Clement Hirsch. And tomorrow at Mountaineer, it is the West Virginia Derby, grade 3 event, $500,000 up for grabs. And we had Dean Reeves in the other day, and he said, Society Man, going to run in that, coming out of the win in the Matt Win. Agate Road goes in the West Virginia Derby for Todd Pletcher, Mike Rapoli and company. So some notable names there. Speaking of Mike Rapoli and Todd Pletcher, we mentioned it, when Mike Welch was in, but Mindframe out of training, Belmont and Haskell runner-up. Mindframe emerged with some bone bruising out of that Haskell, and is going to go to the sidelines for Todd Pletcher, we are told, could come back into training in 60 days. Todd may give him 90. So Mindframe, the talented Mindframe, what we've seen so far, out of consideration for the Travers, but we'll see when he comes back. Also, I pulled up, I know a lot of people this time of year enjoy Del Mar, so I pulled up the Del Mar leaderboard just to give you some thoughts here, relatively early in the Del Mar meet. On the jockey side of things, Juan Hernandez sitting with 11 wins. Umberto Respoli was 9, so it's 11-9. A couple are tied at 8, Hector Barrios and Kyle Frey, and then a few are tied down in 4th. But Juan Hernandez with a little bit of a lead. Again, relatively early in the meet. Over on the trainer side of things, it is a battle. But again, it's early. Phil D'Amato and John Sadler both sitting with 6, Mike McCarthy with 5, and then there's a few with 4, Mark Glatt, Bob Baffert, Tim Yachtine, and Doug O'Neill. So again, a little bit of a battle on the trainer side of things out at Del Mar at this point in the meet. So, and again, I know plenty of people like, you get done with your Saratoga day, if you're sitting at home, kick back and watch Capital OTB and enjoy a little bit of Del Mar action. I know people enjoy that. So there are your leaders there. He's in the green room, Saffie Joseph. So we'll take a commercial break. We will come back and fire up some of his races. He's had a good start to the meet. He has some horses coming up over the weekend as well. All of that when Racing Across America continues. Stay tuned.
Why just watch the races when you can be in the middle of the action? For nearly 20 years, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program has made thoroughbred ownership affordable for the everyday fan. Ownerships of 5 and 10% are now available on a nice selection of horses. As a partial owner with Bonaventure Stables, you'll enjoy all the benefits afforded every owner. Visit with your horse in the private stable area. Greet the trainers and jockeys in the paddock. And when your horse wins, savor the moment in the winner's circle at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, or wherever you bring home the prize. Based in historic Saratoga Springs, Bonaventure Stables has been training winners and creating memories since 2005. Learn more, see available horses, and meet our team at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back to Racing Across America. As promised before the break, he has off to a nice start at the meet. We'll hit on some of the winners so far, but has some horses coming up over the next few days as well. Saffie Joseph. Saffie, good morning.
Good morning, Seth. Thanks for having us on.
Happy to have you on. And I come up the road here every morning, and often mornings you're zipping by me in the cart. Where are you? Are you based back here?
No, we have horses in barn 17 on the main track, and then we have horses over in the harness track. So we're kind of going back and forth, checking them out.
Yeah. As I say, you kind of bounce back and forth. You ever bring them back here to Clare Court?
Yeah, we do. Actually, some of the fillies are a little strong. They love Clare Court. They relax so much. It's a great tool to have.
That's what everybody says. It's such a tranquil atmosphere. If you have a horse who maybe needs that, that's a great place to do it. And for us sitting here, it's kind of tranquil and nice too.
No, I mean, I love it. It's a different setting, and it's amazing like how horses just having that. It's a smaller track, but how they relax so much better than the main track. They just feel it's different for them. And I mean, mentally, I think it's a great asset for a horse.
We talked to you about this before. You know, we make our trips down to Gulfstream, and we've had you fill us in. But I always think up here at Saratoga, we get a new audience and maybe develop new fans. So you have an interesting backstory. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the game.
Yeah, well, started in Barbados. My granddad was an owner, trainer, but majority owner. And then my dad was a trainer during his career. So grew up on it. We trained the horses from where we lived. So horses are basically part of my life. That's the only thing I knew. And then started off training in Barbados. Did well early on. Had a good horse named Are You Talking to Me? That kind of trained me. He won the Triple Crown. And at that time I was, I think, 22 when he won. And you're kind of young and naive, maybe stupid to a degree, and you think that that you're invincible. So wanted a dream to come to America. So we had two horses that we had actually bought at OBS, but they were in Barbados, and told my dad I was going to do it. He was against it. I mean, because he was more wise. I just made the journey. Just put the two horses, booked a flight for them, and came to Florida. I mean, started in Ocala and with the two horses, and the rest is history. Early on, it was tough the first 4 or 5 years coming from Barbados. Nobody really thinks that you're supposed to train horses in Barbados, so they don't realize that there's a lot of good horsemen there and throughout the world. Sir Michael Stout, jockeys, Patrick Husbands have had success, and the horsemanship there is very good. That's the hardest thing, is to let people understand that you're just not falling out of the sky, but you're coming here with a background that's pretty good. But it took for a while, and it was hard for the first 4, 5, 6 years. But thank God the opportunities came, and the sky's the limit right now. Right now we're on a path where we feel like we're very comfortable, and we've learned a lot. Like if I look back now at 22, where I thought I knew, I realize now with the better that we've got, you don't know, and you don't ever know with horses. And I think when you think you know is when you're becoming complacent.
Well, as you say, your father was like, yeah, but the sometimes the being young and naive pays off in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think you become you're at that time. Fear is what creates. I mean, negative thoughts. I mean, the only thing you're supposed to fear is God. After that, you're not. If you can create fear or anxiety and get that out of it, I think you make better decisions. And that's something that being young, you're kind of almost fearless to a point, but sometimes you can be ignorant about it. So it worked out for me, and I think you have to take chances. Yeah.
Pulled up. I was on Equibase last night. Yeah, you're having a nice meet up here, but currently the leader. And they name all the meets. I'm not sure. I'm just going to call it the summer meet down in Gulfstream, but you're having a great meet down there, and that's kind of the home base. But it seems like you've been up here. I've seen you running around. Are you bouncing back and forth?
Yeah. So obviously our core horses are in Florida, and then in the summer we have to spread out to a couple different locations for the better horses. There's not as many opportunities there, so we got to come to Saratoga, Monmouth, different locations, Kentucky also. So we just kind of try to spread out, and I spend most of the time here for the 6 weeks. At least here's my base now for these 6 weeks. Yeah.
And how long have you been coming up to Saratoga?
I think the first year was COVID, so it was a very unusual year. 2020, you can't forget that. There was no fans. It was different, and we did good the first year. We won a couple of races, I think like 3, and then the second year we won our first race and lost like 40. So you learn quickly at Saratoga, and then everybody's like, "Oh, you can't win at Saratoga," but I mean, people are always going to scrutinize you early on, and we learned very quickly that we had to bring the right kind of horse. We kind of brought horses that year that were to satisfy owners more than the horses that we should have brought. So you learn quickly after that, and every year we've been consistent, even in some races.
And again, you're having a good year this year as well, and I wanted to hit on some of the winners. Just going back relatively recently, wanted to show this one, the Honorable Miss Spirit Win goes out for you. Lone Star, and on Lone Star, Mike Smith was on board, and on July 24th, Mike Smith was on board again. I asked him in the winner's circle, so what made you come? Was it the race down in Texas, and he said, Saffie called me, and when Saffie calls, I'm coming. So it was fun to have Mike Smith get a win back up here in the stakes race at Saratoga.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, Mike grew up watching him like when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. To get him right, have the win. I always dreamed of having him write a winner for us, and to have it happen at Lone Star was good, nice, and gratifying to have an accomplishment like that. And then we asked him to come out, and he was gracious enough to come out. And just apart from like, obviously you want to win as a trainer and for the owner. I mean, that's what you're doing this for. Just to have Mike win as a fan at Saratoga. I read after that he hadn't won for like maybe 4 or 5 years.
He hadn't been here in 3 years, I think.
Yeah, and I know for all the fans, people are Mike. They were excited to see him, and so then you think of me. I'm a fan of the game also. You think of it like how important it is for the sport, and it's important to have these jockeys kind of be at these meets. I mean, I think what they need to do is have a jockey competition like at the meet once a year, where you can get different riders coming in, and I think that's what the fans look forward to. You need these kind of things to go on, like how they do it at Royal Ascot. I mean, at Ascot, not the Royal Ascot.
Yeah. No, I like that idea. Last night, I don't think I saw you over there. They had the jockey basketball game last night. That was
I
fun.
didn't go to that.
That was fun too. I wanted to pull this one up just because I found it intriguing. And again, we've talked to you over the years on our trips down to Gulfstream, when we've gone down for the Florida Derby this year. We were down for the Fountain of Youth. But that was the home base, and now you've kind of branched out. And this one's interesting. I'm going to go back to July 19th, and it's going to be public sector getting it done in here, the number 6 horse, up at Woodbine. And you've had some runners up at Woodbine this year. What was the impetus to go to Canada?
Yeah, so Woodbine, we did it 2 years ago. It's mainly for the stakes program. He was actually he's been our only winner this year there. We won a couple stakes there back 2 years ago. And it was kind of just to have an option for the stake horses. Some of the other horses haven't run that well this year there. I mean, he was able to give us a win, but it's mainly they have a good stakes program.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking this is the grass, but I was wondering if it played into it, synthetic down at Gulfstream and synthetic up at Woodbine.
Yeah, just mainly the stakes program.
Okay.
There's such a good stakes program there. That, like for fillies, we've got some fillies graded stakes placed there, and we been able to win for some homebreds graded stakes. So it helps the breeders. The stakes program there is very lucrative, and there's a lot of opportunity that maybe some of the stakes don't come up as tough as elsewhere.
And had to show this because, as I say, it's been a good meet for you, and it kicked off very good. July 11th, the Schuylerville. We'll look at the Queen's MG getting it done. At 44-1. A, it was a gorgeous victory, and it was a great way to kick off the meet. But B, I mean, I'm kind of red-boarding because I did not use the Queen's MG, and again, going to be the number 11 horse at a huge price. But as I say, I'm red-boarding a little bit, but this was one after the race. What was with that price? Went off as the favorite in the prior stakes race and had trouble in that race, correct?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to say that we were confident thinking that we're going to win for this race after the last race. When a horse runs that uncharacteristically bad, you're not really sure what to expect next time. But after the race, we talked it over to the ownership group, and we said, if everything checks out well, we're going to continue on to the Schuylerville as if the race didn't exist. Because it was too bad to be true. I mean, she got bumped around. The second bump actually twisted her hind end. And is that an excuse? We don't know. Sometimes you see horses get bumped and still win. But everything checked out well, and we proceeded to the Schuylerville at the other race didn't exist. Did we think we were going to win? No. You always hope to win, but realistically, getting beat 26 lengths back into a race, we were hoping for a good performance to build on. And we thought we were going to win the race before, and you saw that result. So, I mean, to get her back on track, we bought her because we thought she was a good filly, and her form had worked out well. The horses she beat came back to win the stake, including the day she ran poorly. So to get back on track and start the meet like that, that was God's blessings, because I didn't think we had a chance to win that race going into the race off of the last race. I was hoping to, if I ran third, fourth, and got beat 4 or 5, I thought that would give us the confidence to kick forward to the next race. Since then, she's trained poorly.
She's in Sunday.
Yeah, she's in Sunday.
What's your expectations?
I mean, she's trained really well. I mean, she always trains well, but she seems like she's doing better than the last race. You know, last race we did. Hopefully now we don't jinx her, but I feel like she's sitting on a big race again, like a really big race, and hopefully she'll do that.
Unfortunately for us, we're not going to get 44-1 off of that victory. But again, it just seemed like off of that the defeat in the stakes race, as I think she was the favorite that day as well, and to go off at the 44-1 was kind of crazy. I didn't ask you, but Spirit Wind coming out of the honorable miss. What's up next for Spirit Wind?
Yeah, so Spirit Wind, initially going into the honorable miss was basically our big target the whole year. 6 furlongs, we think she's as good as any filly. I mean, she might be a competitive against most colts too. So that was our kind of main target. After that, we're going to go to Charlestown. They have a $500,000 race. It is 7/8, but it's a little easier competition, and the configuration should suit her style. Now, seeing her performance and watching the replay, she kind of galloped out well. That the ballerina, we're going to consider it, but we're not going to make a decision for another 2 weeks at least. You know what I mean? We kind of want to, do we stick to our original plan? It's worked out so far, or do we attempt to try the ballerina now?
Is the Charlestown 2 turns?
Yeah, it's 2 turns 7/8. So it's a speed configuring. It's not as taxing as a 7/8 here, and it's lesser competition. Like I said, 7 at the grade 1 level, maybe it gets to her optimum base ability.
Yeah.
Like unfortunately, most of the grade 1s for fillies are all at 1 turn or 7/8. So kind of if we kind of take the easier route now, maybe we might backtrack to the 7/8 in October, like the Princess Rooney. It's a win in year in, and then try it in the Breeders' Cup. So I'm undecided right now, but that's kind of the thoughts.
All right. So we'll look for the future to her and see where she winds up. Also pulled up a little replay of the Del Cap. Honor the Lady gets it done for you. Jose Ortiz was on board that day. Nice victory here. Nice convincing victory. She's going to be the number 2 horse. How'd she come out of the Del Cap, and what might be next for Honor D Lady?
Yeah, she bounced out of Del Cap well. I mean, that distance is what she really wants. She's a filly that wants to probably go 1.25 miles, mile and 3/8. I mean, there's a ton of stamina in how she trains, and that's what she displays. That was the first time she got to go that far. She came back. She worked twice at Mama. We just shipped her up here a few days ago. She's going to point to the personal ensign on the 24th. We're going to run her in that race, and we're going to run Soul of an Angel.
So she's up here working.
Yeah, she hasn't breezed her yet. She worked on Sunday at Mama, and we shipped her up the following day, and she's galloped. Today was her second day galloping here, so she's gonna have 3 works here, probably 2 or 3 works. I'm pointing to personal ensign.
And how often or how many horses do you kind of cycle in and out during the meet?
Yeah, I mean, just depends on their schedule. I mean, like obviously stalls are a shortage, so you have to. If a horse runs and is not going to run back again, they're going to go somewhere else. In her scenario, she's been at Monmouth base there. She won the Delaware Handicap from there, and then she's doing well there. Ideally, you would almost keep her there, but this track's been very tiring. And I think if you train over it, it's an advantage, especially if you get 1 or 2 breezes in it. I think preferably 2. So that's the reason to bring her up early. and gets a couple of works in there so that we're not any disadvantages going into the race. I mean, ideally, you would normally in a normal scenario, if the track wasn't that tiring, I would have just kept our mom off. But I think it's important to get some works over this course.
It's interesting. It was interesting to hear the trainer's perspective on things like that and how the track. I mean, you're saying it seems like that's the way it is now. You're not necessarily thinking until you've seen some racing and had some horses work over the track. But having done that, you now feel like if you're up here, maybe it's an advantage.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident it is a key to work over this track. As tiring as it can be, I think like you're at more advantage. If you get 2 works over it, you're in a good spot. If you're coming in with no work over it, I feel like you're at a disadvantage. Now, if you're much the best, it doesn't really matter. But that's just I'm pretty confident in that assessment. Yeah,
it's interesting. Today, Saratoga Oaks Invitational, and you have moving on up in. We're going to take a look at the allowance event down at Churchill. This was a nice win by moving on up. Tyler Gaffleone on board that day. He's scheduled back on board today. Ken Ramsey owns. Ken, a longtime prominent owner, and you train a lot of his horses. What are your expectations this afternoon off of this victory in Saratoga Oaks for moving up?
Yeah, I thought that was a nice victory. They're all clear of the horses. She was wide into the first bend and still had enough to finish it off. Different caliber of horses she's running against now. Kind of just she's doing well. We're here. Why not take a chance and see where we're at? If you never take a chance in these races, you never know how good you are. So it's a run in to see where we're at. We're happy with the filly. I mean, we know we're up against it, especially some of the Charlie Appleby horses and the other ones in there, but we feel like if we can get a stakes place, it'll be big. And I mean, it's a horse race. If you never know until you try. So we're not scared to give horses chances, and a lot of times they exceed our expectations, and that's how we learn.
Certainly looked good last time. I'm sure Ken would love a win up at Saratoga.
Almost definitely, he's here, and he had his kidney transplant. He's doing it well, and he's watching from home, right?
Yeah.
And he's enjoying it just as much. And he told me yesterday he's very happy. Like it's keeping him going, and his outlook on life is so positive and everything, even with his assessment of horses, and just very, very sharp. And obviously, look at it, to have the confidence to do a kidney transplant at that age, and he went through it with confidence, and so far he's on the right trajectory path.
Yeah, we've had him sit here over the years. A real character, and as I say, a prominent owner for years and years. So we'll look for that one today, and then tomorrow, Skippy Longstocking, and I pulled up a replay of the Oaklawn Handicap. Subsequently ran third in the Stephen Foster, but the Oaklawn Handicap to me kind of jumped off the page as one to take a look at. Gets it done here, does it with a solid 107 buyer figure. What were your thoughts on the Oaklawn Handicap victory, and then again the subsequent third in the Stephen Foster, and Saturday for Skippy Longstocking in the Whitney?
Yeah, I thought the Oaklawn Handicap was his best performance visually. He sat a great trip, and he quickened nicely. I like how he finished it off that day. I had a lot of respect for Highland Falls going into the race, and to me, that was his best performance by far. Obviously, on the numbers, it indicated that also.
Yeah.
I thought going into the Stephen Foster, what we took out of it is that we learned a lot. He ran a very unique race. He was on the lead next first mission, kind of dropped back at the turn like he was almost beaten, and then he re-rallied to have the fastest final eighth in the race, which is unusual for a horse leading, dropping back, and then running fast, and actually Kingsbarn in the final eighth. So I thought we learned a little bit about that race. Skippy's just been a model of consistency. He's gradually got better and better as he's got aged. I mean, it's going to be a very tough race tomorrow. The weather, if it rains sloppy, I don't think that hurts him. I think that may increase his chances. So we just hope he shows up and runs his race. If he does, he's capable to win one of these races.
Yeah, 2 for 2 over a wet track. So as you say, that may actually wind up being a bonus. But that Oaklawn race was very impressive. And then you think he got something nice out of the Stephen Foster, so could be set up very nicely. Jose Ortiz has been on board the last two. He's back on board as well. I pulled up, as they say, Equibase, and you also have some runners coming up over the next few days. Today is the stakes performance, but tomorrow and Sunday you have some undercard horses as well. Anybody we should be taking a look at?
Yeah, I mean, we got a filly in our time on Sunday. She's running in the grass, private purchase. We just got her a few weeks ago. I mean, just on what she's shown so far, we haven't had her long. We had one work into her. You would think that she should have a very good chance. Then in the allowance race on Sunday, we got Cape Trafalgar and Implementation. Both of them are in good order, and I think it's kind of hard to separate them. I think both have winning chances.
I'm always interested in the maiden specials. You have Reach for Roses scheduled for tomorrow. What about that one?
Yeah,
Reach for the Rose.
He's a horse we think quite highly of. He ran second first time in the Royal Ascot race. The horse went to Ascot and ran second.
Oh, the little stakes race down at
the one that beat him.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go, but he had a shin, so we had to back off him. We didn't want to travel out so far and not be 100%. So we backed off him with Saratoga in mind. First time stretching him out. It seems like he should stretch out, and he's a 2-year-old that we think is stakes quality. So, I mean, depends on the weather tomorrow. We might still run him on the dirt. He trains well enough on the dirt, but if it was to rain off, but we feel like he's a quality 2-year-old.
So again, some nice horses on the undercard coming up, some nice stakes performances, and some nice wins already at the meet. Saffie, congratulations on the start to the meet. And again, congratulations also down at Gulfstream, where you have a nice lead in the summertime meet, and horses down at Monmouth, and again, some horses up at Woodbine as well. But congratulations so far. Nice start up here at Saratoga. Good luck on the weekend. We'll talk again.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll wrap it up for Racing Across America on this Friday morning. Come on up if you'd like to. Nice stakes action today. Nice undercard as well. Don't forget Whitney Day tomorrow. Baseball jersey giveaway day today up here as well. So keep that in mind if you're heading up or thinking about heading up. You can get the giveaway at them. Tomorrow we kick off early post time on Whitney Day. So we'll have an early post time as well. Tomorrow, handicappers report at 8 a.m., Racing Across America at 9 a.m. So we'll see you then.
Turn your love of racing into savings with equine discounts through the NTRA. Purchase through equine discounts and receive great savings on well-known brands like John Deere, Sherwin-Williams, Big Ass Fans, Farmers Insurance, and Office Depot. Join thousands of other equine members and support companies that give back to the sport we all love. Call 866-678-4289 or visit equinediscounts.com to start saving today.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Also brought to you by Wizard Race and Sports.